Hello class, and welcome back to the next part of our lecture on writing with purpose. Now that we've discussed the importance of having a controlling purpose in our writing, let's focus on another crucial aspect of writing, thinking about your audience. When writing any piece of text, it is essential to write and to keep in mind who your readers are and what they expect from your writing. And this is especially important in the social service and community service setting, where the information conveyed in your writing could potentially have significant impact on individuals and communities. So when thinking about your audience, it's important to consider who the readers are and what their expectations are. In the social service or community service setting, your audience could be employees or trainees or assistants who expect to receive directives and suggestions and information from you. After all, you're the expert. Alternatively, your audience could be supervisors or managers who expect to receive suggestions or information from you. It is also possible that your audience could be other members of the organization who may or may not expect to receive suggestions or information from you. So let us consider an example to better understand the importance of thinking about your audience in the social service and community service setting. So suppose you're writing a report on the effectiveness of a community outreach program. And this program is aimed at reducing substance abuse among teenagers. Now, in this case, your audience could be the program directors who are responsible for the implementation of the program, the funders who provide financial support to the program, or even the community members who are directly affected by the program. Now, if your audience is the program directors, they would likely expect your report to provide them with insights into the effectiveness of the program and how the program has been achieving its goals, and any recommendations on how the program might be improved and how its effectiveness could be enhanced. Now, on the other hand, if your audience is the funders, they may be interested in knowing whether their investment in the program has been worthwhile and what the program's impact has been on the community. And finally, if your audience is the community members affected by the program, they might want to know whether the program has made a positive difference in their lives and whether there are any areas that could be improved. Now, in these cases, it's important to keep in mind the specific expectations of your audience and to tailor your writing accordingly. And this could mean using language and terminology that is familiar to your audience, or provide relevant examples and case studies, and presenting your findings in a clear and concise manner. So, thinking about your audience is a crucial aspect of effective writing in the social service or community service setting. And by understanding who your readers are and what their expectations are, you can tailor your writing to meet their needs and effectively convey your message. And this could potentially have a significant impact on individuals and communities, and is therefore an essential skill for any writer in this field. Now, in the context of community service, considering the audience is obviously equally important. So let's say you're writing a proposal for a grant to fund a program aimed at reducing food insecurity in a low-income neighborhood. Your audience could be the potential funders, such as government agencies, it could be philanthropic foundations, or it could be private donors. So firstly, you need to consider how your audience will react to the information that you present. Will they view the problem of food insecurity as a pressing issue that needs to be addressed urgently? Or will they be skeptical of your proposed solution or its potential impact? Now, to persuade them, you may need to provide compelling evidence of the problem, such as statistics on the number of people affected, the severity of the problem, and its long-term consequences. And secondly, you need to determine how much information that you need to include. If your audience is not familiar with the issue of food insecurity or the specific challenges faced by the community you're targeting, you may need to provide some additional information to help them to understand that context. On the other hand, if your audience is already familiar with the issue, you can focus more on the specific details of your program and its potential impact. For example, you may need to include information about the types of service you will offer, such as a food pantry, meal delivery, or nutritional education. You may also need to outline how the program will be implemented, who will be responsible for it, and how success is going to be measured in this context. And additionally, you may need to provide information about the community you are serving, such as demographics, income levels, and the challenges they face in accessing nutritious food. So, considering the audience is critical in professional communication, whether it is research literature or community service. By asking yourself simple questions such as how your audience will react to the information and how much information to include, you can tailor your message to your audience and achieve your communications goals effectively. Now, we've discussed the importance of considering our audience, and it is essential to talk about writing with purpose, but it's also important to consider tone. Writing with purpose means having a clear understanding of what you want to achieve with your message. So our writing should have a clear objective, whether it's to inform or persuade or instruct. And this objective should be clearly stated and emphasized throughout the entire writing, including in the tone. Additionally, tone plays a crucial role in communicating the intent of the message, as well as the message itself. And to do it effectively, tone is the attitude and the style we use to communicate our message. It is essential to choose the right tone that will resonate with our audience and achieve the intended purpose. So here are some things to consider when thinking about your tone. First off, it should be friendly and accessible in tone. A friendly and accessible tone is suitable when communicating with a general audience or when the message is more informal. And this tone can help to build trust with the audience and make the message more relatable. You can also have a friendly and professional tone. A friendly and professional tone is suitable when the message is more formal, such as a business or an academic setting. And this tone is friendly but also professional and demonstrates respect for the audience. Sometimes there is friendly but only accessible if clarification is required. And this tone is suitable when the message is more complex or more technical, and the audience may require clarification. And in this case, the tone should be friendly, but also direct and to the point, with an emphasis on clarity. So in the social service and community service setting, it's essential to choose a tone that is appropriate for the audience and the purposes of the message. For example, if the message is to inform volunteers about a new project, a friendly and accessible tone may be suitable. On the other hand, if the message is to persuade donors to contribute to a cause, a more professional tone may be more effective. So let's look at an example of writing with purpose and tone in the context of, let's use school or research literature. So in academic writing, the purpose is to inform or persuade other researchers about a particular topic. The tone should be professional and objective, with an emphasis on accuracy and credibility. The language should be formal, and technical terms should be used appropriately. In contrast to this, a community service writing, for example, the purpose would be to inform volunteers of an upcoming event or project. And here the tone should be friendly and accessible, with an emphasis on the benefits of the project and how volunteers can be involved. Now, whatever you're writing, the language should be clear and concise. And in this particular case of the community service writing, it should be avoid technical jargon that isn't familiar to the audience. So in essence, when writing with purpose and when considering the tone, it is essential to think about the audience and the intended message. And choosing the appropriate tone will help to ensure that the message is communicated effectively and that the intended purpose is indeed achieved. Now, by considering the audience, you can determine the appropriate tone that will resonate with them and ultimately lead to a successful outcome. Now, what research has shown is that the tone of written communication can significantly affect the recipient's perception of the message and of the writer's credibility. Now, here's an interesting study that was published in the Journal of Business and Psychology. And what it found, and this is from 2013, and it found that the tone of written feedback given to employees can have a significant impact on their job satisfaction and motivation. Another study conducted by the Harvard Business Review found that the tone of customer service emails can greatly impact the customer satisfaction and loyalty. And what this study revealed from 2015 is that customers who received empathetic and personalized responses were more likely to remain loyal to the brand and recommend it to others, while those who received cold and informal responses were less likely to do so. So in professional communication, it is essential to strike the right tone to achieve the desired outcome. For instance, if the goal is to persuade, a friendly and professional tone may be appropriate. However, if the message is meant to be informative, a more accessible and friendly tone may be appropriate. For example, in the community service setting, a friendly and accessible tone may be suitable when communicating with volunteers, as we've already mentioned. A message that starts with a warm greeting and that acknowledges the volunteers' contributions can go a long way in motivating them to continue to engage with the program and to continue to volunteer. On the other hand, when communicating with donors or sponsors, a friendly but professional tone may be more suitable to convey the organization's achievements and the goals, to help people buy in to the idea and the mission of the organization. So in essence, research has shown that the tone of written communication can significantly impact the recipient's perception of the message and of the writer's credibility. And so, when writing in a professional context, it is important to consider the purpose, as well as the audience, and the desired outcome to determine the appropriate tone for the message. So, when writing with purpose, considering the audience and choosing the correct tone, you have the critical components of effective professional communication. By having a clear understanding of your purpose and your audience, you can tailor your message to meet their needs, their expectations, and their preferences. By choosing the right tone, you can establish credibility and build trust with your readers, ensuring that your message is received positively and effectively. Now, research has constantly shown that tone is a crucial aspect of writing within professional communication. In fact, studies have demonstrated that tone can have a significant impact on how writers perceive the message and the writer's credibility. So, it's essential to consider the tone carefully when crafting any professional communication, whether it's a report, whether it's a presentation, whether it's an article, whether it's an email. And remember that your purpose, your audience, and your tone are all interconnected, and they work together to create a cohesive and an effective message. And so when planning your communication, take the time to consider all three carefully. Your writing should be purposeful, tailored to the needs and expectations of your audience, and communicated in a tone that establishes trust and credibility. And I hope that this has provided you with some valuable insights and that you've enjoyed this lecture. Again, a reminder that writing with purpose is essential, and all of this ties together into your audience and choosing the right tone. That's it for our lecture this week. You take care, and I will see you in our next lesson. Goodbye.